Welcome back, my loves, to another chapter of Wild Women series from the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. And the chapter name is The Ugly Duckling. Okay, like all the other stories from this book, this story might sound simple from the outside, but it carries a deeper wound and a deeper truth on the inside. And I'll be honest, this one made me emotional because I clearly saw myself in it. I saw the little girl who didn't belong, a girl who always felt out of place, even in her own home. If you ever felt like you are a woman who never quite fit into the boxes that the world has handed over to you, if you've ever felt like the odd one out, like you were somehow different, or if you ever felt like that you were made to feel that you were too sensitive, or too quiet, or too wild, or too anything, then this story is for you, my love. Okay, let's sit with the story for a moment. I'm gonna read the story for you. In my own words, there was once a little duckling born into a nest where everyone looked the same. Except her. From the moment she arrived, she was met with rejection, teasing, even cruelty. Her own family couldn't accept her. She was ridiculed and cast out by her own tribe, all of them calling her the ugly duckling, because she didn't look like any of them. Her mother was her only comfort. But one day, even she said, I wish you were not here. So she left. She wandered through the world looking for safety, for love, for a place where she could finally rest. But everywhere she went, more rejection, more pain. She was too strange for them, too awkward, too something. And so the duckling spent months and months alone, wandering through storms, hunger, and bitter cold, until one day she stumbled upon a group of swans, and they greeted her like she was one of them. Something in her stirred. She looked at them and felt something unfamiliar, yet deeply known, like she had met a part of herself. And then she looked into the water and saw her own reflection. And for the first time, she saw the truth. She was never a duckling. There's this part in the story that says that her egg had somehow rolled into the duck's nest. And that's how she grew up believing she was something she never was. She wasn't an ugly duckling. She was a swan all along. Beautiful, majestic, graceful. And when she saw this truth, she finally came home to herself. So let's move on to the symbolism of the story. So, this story is not just about a duckling, it's about every woman who, at some point in her life, felt like she did not belong. Maybe you've walked into the rooms where everyone looked the same, spoke the same language, shared the same dreams, and yet you didn't fit in. Maybe you've been made to feel that you are too intense, too emotional, or too quiet, and just too different. So this is story of the exile, the moment when the people you thought would love you, they don't. When even your closest circles, even your own mother, says that you don't belong here. That moment can feel like death. And then it begins a long wandering, whether you actually leave that place or not. A search starts to find what was never mirrored back to you. You knock on different doors, different friendships, jobs, lovers, communities, all in hopes of being seen, being held, being loved. But what the duckling didn't know, and many of us don't know at first, is that this painful journey of rejection is also a sacred path home to ourselves. Not everyone along this journey of exile, this journey of abandonment, not everyone that you meet on this journey is your people. Some are teachers, some offer warmth, but not belonging. You might stay at some places for a season, but your soul knows when it's time to leave. Because belonging is not about fitting in, it's about remembering who you truly are. And when you finally meet those people who mirror back your truth, your essence, your wild self, your heart leaps. Your heart whispers, your body tells you that it's safe to be here. But this moment only arrives when you've done the deeper work to see yourself clearly, to reclaim your self-worth, to stop apologizing for your light. And that's when you realize that you were never different or too much. You were never wrong. You were just a swan raised in the wrong nest. So, to the woman who's always felt different, it's because you were never meant to stay in a world that doesn't recognize your magic and is not even ready to see that there is magic in you. You were always meant to create your own world. So let's take a moment to slow down and just return to our breaths and our uniqueness. Let yourself feel. This is your space to remember that you were never meant to fit in. You were always meant to belong deeply, soulfully, authentically. Now it's time for some journaling exercise. I'm giving you a few questions here, which you can journal on. Question number 1 is, where in my life have I felt like the ugly duckling? So reflect on the moments where you felt misunderstood, out of place, or unseen, and just let yourself ride wherever comes through. Now, second question is, what doors have I knocked on in search of belonging? Relationships, roles, communities. Which ones felt comforting and which ones left you emptier? Question number 3 is, who am I beneath the need to fit in? If you'd never been shamed, rejected, or abandoned, who would you be? Okay. Question number 4 is, what does it feel like in my body to imagine being truly seen, truly met? And here you have to close your eyes and picture it and feel it somatically and let your nervous system taste that safety. Now, the next thing is your embodiment exercise for this story. I want to invite you to mirror your essence this time. What you'll do is you'll stand in front of a mirror and gaze at your own reflection, not through the lens of comparison and judgment, but through the eyes of recognition. Then place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly, and then say softly, I see you, you belong, you're not too much, you are not wrong. I see you, you belong, you're not too much, you're not wrong. 3 times. Again, I see you, you belong, you're not too much, you're not wrong. And then begin to move gently if you want. You can sway your body and let your body just express what it feels like to come home to yourself. There's no right way or wrong way. It's just your way. And even 5 minutes of this exercise can do so much for you. And remember, you're not performing, you're just remembering. So if this story stirred something in you, if you felt like while listening to the story that you were also the odd one out, like sometimes you were too tender, too intense, too deep, like just different than others, then this chapter was for you. The ugly duckling wasn't ugly. She was simply gazing in the wrong mirror. And maybe you've also spent years like that, looking into the wrong mirrors too. But the journey of exile, as we saw, is not the end. It is part of the path that'll take you to your truth. And in losing what was never yours, you remember what has always been yours, your wild, radiant, sacred self. And from that place, you will find your true reflection, your people, your true home. So if you're still in between of this journey, keep going. You're not lost. You are becoming. Thank you for being here with me for this chapter of the Wild Woman series. And I'll see you in the next one. And until then, hold your essence close. You're not a misfit, my love. You are a swan. You always were.